So many of you know that this was a high conviction trade for me. I haven't taken almost $200,000 on a stock in a while. I don't think I've done it once this year. Um, Now, what I was looking for was there's two things. So first of all, why did I add, and how did I know to add really before it started to rally? Well, I heard the news about Rumble last week, or I mean, I knew of it. But then there's some influencers that I follow that created some Rumble accounts, but there's so many social media platforms out there. I'm like, okay, what's another one? Really, like honestly, why do we need another social media platform? There's so many competitors out there. TikTok's really taking over. YouTube numbers are dropping. But then what I found in trading is it does not matter what side you are on. Literally, it does not matter. Politically driven stocks or catalysts based on stocks usually perform extremely well on both sides. We saw this on both sides. Obviously, Trump's media stock was kind of like a screw left. Like let's pump up his social media platform, and then on the other side you've had a lot of rallies off of Black Lives Matter and things like that. So really, politics aside, it does not matter what side you're on. But what I found is politically motivated stocks end up performing well. The reason being is it gets the most attention. Think about certain news sources. I mean, they literally thrive off of conflict and politics. And if they can boast about a stock being up on news, then everyone's going to be like, I want to get in on that. And that's just how, it kind of starts some sort of a rally. And what we saw was Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers, I believe, signed on and had like a 700,000 consistent view. Over 1 million people, I think, watched one of their live streams on Rumble. They signed with them. And then we saw Trump's True Social endorse them. Then a lot of positive catalysts came flooding in. So I figured, you know what? This is going to mimic a lot of DWAC's action in November or October. And like I say all the time, that was my biggest winner by far. Because I knew politically motivated stocks end up performing really well to the upside. And I figured this would be the same thing. Their goal is like free speech, absolute, no censorship. And so I decided to take a position in it because I saw the names behind it. And then as I took a pretty large position at 1040, I added again at 1050 and 1060 as it started to break out and some volume started to come in. And then I rode this momentum all day from 1050 all the way up to 1220 without taking a single share of profit. Now, I did trade it. I actively traded it off of the high day right here, this pullback. The first one at the break of 11 I traded, and then traded another 5-minute pullback, and I practically stopped out break even at around 1150. So I day traded as well. I've had as much as almost 20,000 shares, but I was consistently holding at least 10,000. And then it held 12, exactly what I was looking for. I mean, beautiful continuation play. I was super bullish on it. That's why I didn't take any profits, because this mimicked a lot of the continuation plays that we profit on. And DWAC did the exact same thing. Literally rallied until absolute close. It closed at 12:10 when I went to bed. Now, here's the thing with pre-market. I talked about it at market open or pre-market this morning, and I'm not saying this happened. Obviously, it went down. It's down 10 to 8% right now on the day, but pre-market can be manipulated a lot easier. Now, like I said, I'm not saying this happened, but I have seen this. Market makers force price down because the order books are so thin that it's a lot easier to do. Not everyone can trade pre-market, especially now at 5 a.m. Most people can't. And so what happens is it forces the price down. And eventually forces retail traders out of their positions. They're stopping out. They're looking at a reversal, and then that's when retail traders buy those shares back, or that's when market makers buy those shares back up, and then look for a pump to the upside, and then start to balance their portfolio. You got to understand, market makers have a portfolio to balance and manage as well, and they have the position sizing to do that. Now, the reason why I was kind of confident that happened is it started to pump at market open, right before market open, went back up to 1170. So I was figuring, all right, 1175, $12, we're going to see 13, maybe even 14 right out the gates. So had pretty aggressive price targets. I was looking to make well over $20,000 on it, but I also knew pre-market this morning I have to trade my plan. I cannot be so in love and enamored with a stock or with a trade that I would put all my finances and strategies aside just to see this one play out, because I like the politics behind it, or the CEO is cool, or whatever it may be. And so I knew that as hyped as and excited as I was, I still said, let's not celebrate till we close. And then so I took half profit, 1150 pre-market, took the rest at 1125, and then 11. So bought in at 1050, and then sold out at 1150, 1125, and 11 for about 75 cents a share average gain. But then I day traded it, which made me make just under $1 a share gain, and walked out with about $12,000 in profit. Down about 10K on it this morning. Because I was up about 22,000 at market close yesterday, and then closing at around 12. I am blessed. I am extremely happy with the performance we've had. I don't think I could have traded it much better, other than maybe selling at 12. But quite honestly, the setup was so perfect, I was totally fine with holding. It held 1175. It held 12. Then just pre-market, we didn't see the buying volume that we really needed, and it ended up triggering our take profits. It's a part of trading. So sitting up over 15,000 on the week, super happy. I couldn't be happier. I mean, thinking about making 15,000 in quite literally 24 hours. And then thinking back to literally just a few short years ago, 15,000 took me 6 months of hard labor. Super happy. I don't want to get down thinking like, man, what if this was DWC and you could have made 30, 40, 50, 100, 130,000. You can't decide when your big winners are. The market decides. And so all we can do as traders is react accordingly, given the chance or the probability we have. I thought the probability of this continuing higher today was very high, very, very high. We didn't get it. It's okay. Sold on the way going down. Still a super good trade. Now, why did I leverage so much on it? I mean, I took this in the small account, man. This was not in my main. That small account challenge. I mean, I understand a $40,000 account is not small to most of you, but I started out with about 16. And I leveraged 300% my portfolio on this one, mainly because I was comfortable with the size. But like I said, the politically motivated stocks generally end up performing very, very well because there's a lot of emotion behind it. So if you can take advantage of that, you can make a lot of money. And so that's kind of what I saw. And to kind of mirror what DWAC did, I thought there was going to be a lot of DWAC FOMO buyers. Like, man, I missed out on the last one. I don't want to miss out on this one. Plus that Andrew Tate guy is literally the most popular dude on the planet. So I figured it would give us some hype. We'll continue to rewatch it. Closer to merger. Do I think the momentum will go back up? As of right now, it is over. Tomorrow or the next day it can slowly creep up, and then we can maybe buy for a break of 12 and then get the initial push we wanted. But as of right now, I do not plan on buying any more CFVI. I took advantage of it the best I could. Now, this was easy to borrow given and DWAC wasn't. But you also have to understand the first day. So CFVI went up like at the high 19%. Okay, just put that in perspective. 19%. DWAC after the first day went up, I think over 1,000, almost it was like 800%. So already right there, the percent gain wasn't 100% there. Hence why I did leverage a little bit more on. But that's just kind of just a part of trading. Not every plan works out the way you want it. But still a super, super nice gain. So if you guys have any questions about why I traded CFVI, questions of my entries, my exits, why I leveraged, any thesis behind my trading strategy, why I'm not in on it right now. If you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the premium chat. I would love to answer them. But ended it with about a 10% gain overall on the leveraged position, but on my account it was like a 20 to 25% gain due to the leverage. Any questions on CFVI or any of the trades I took today, team? This is kind of mainly what I wanted to go over. I really wanted to stress the fact that politically driven stocks I find are extremely just hyped up just due to how fast the word spreads. Controversy, news outlets, people love a good story, and if they feel that they can stick the other side with a stock flying with their finances, then I usually take advantage of it. When I consider shorting it, maybe you could have at market open reversed your order, but I wouldn't, because honestly, I do have high hopes for this company. I would like to see, a lot of influencers not have to, be censored with everything. So I don't really think I'll short this one. I think it'll probably do pretty successful. Leading up to the merger. If you wanted to short on the intraday time frame, the real ad would have been probably 11:25 or the rejection at market open at 11:50. You could have reversed your order. I decided not to, just because I wasn't really in the shorting mood. Not meaning like I didn't really feel like shorting, but my eyes and head was really focused on just long positioning. It can be hard to switch between the two. If I'm heavily shorting stocks, I like to do it for a few weeks just so I can or a few days to get it really in tune with shorting. It's literally the opposite of what you normally would do. So trying to flip like that on demand, I find is hard for me. Anything else, y'all? Got 3 days left. Phase kind of was a good trade. $2,200. Like that trade alone was a good trade. I didn't even size up. It just squeezed right at pre-market. So that one was a really solid trade. But if we're reviewing, the NASDAQ right now, I do believe we are headed to see some lower lows within the coming week or two. So I definitely don't plan on longing anything for more than like an overnight hold. As of right now, it's just looking pretty bearish given the Powell speaking. Same thing with crypto. We are kind of start to rebalance the portfolios. We did cover our short Bitcoin position, but we plan on kind of rebalancing it within the coming few days, because we do as a team believe that we are headed for lower lows across both markets. Shoot, I want to say something, but I'm going to save it for ProfitCon. Did you expect these kind of runs within 2 days? What do you mean exactly? Like did I expect CVFI to run as much as it did? Or just like as many opportunities as I've had this week?